Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to another YouTube channel everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back here together again, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing a top 5 movie list, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite movie franchises of all time, from the worst to the best. Let's just get started, because this is going to be a very interesting list, and let's just do the list. So, I am going to be including some trilogies in here, but for me, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is truly one of the best. Now, I might be biased because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, not just Marvel, but really just the best superhero, because this trilogy literally does the best job of the Spider-Man movies. And it's probably my favorite franchise of all the Spider-Man film series, whether it's the Amazing Spider-Man series or the MCU Spider-Man film series. This franchise, the trilogy just does so well. The first film really does a great job of introducing these characters and kind of having, like, with Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire's arc, he wants to impress Mary Jane, and so he tries to buy a car, and he has like these spider powers now. And then, you know, you have all the other characters, and then Willem Dafoe is of course great. And then, like, I think that the series did so well is that it had all these great characters, it had some fantastic villains, some amazing action sequences, and some just iconic moments. Whether talking about the origin story of Spider-Man, the scene where Spider-Man saves all the people on that train in Spider-Man 2, or really the dance sequence for Spider-Man 3. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad sequence, but it is kind of funny. But, also, it really just has some great characters with all the arcs in the characters. Just like when you watch it, it's just fantastic. And throughout all these movies, they're great. Spider-Man 2, I'm a little bit not really the best fan of, because I just don't watch it very often, and I don't really understand why Peter Parker loses his powers. But you can't be Spider-Man and balance all of this life stuff. You gotta do one. You either gotta choose superhero life or the other, or normal life. So I thought that was a great way. But then you get into Spider-Man 3, and it was just a weird situation. Though the characters I thought were very well done in that film. So even though it's flawed, I still enjoy it. So this was a trilogy that I thought was closed out really well. But I really wish, and I also really wish we could have gotten that fourth film. Now, what makes the Kung Fu Panda trilogy so well, one of the reasons why I love the original Kung Fu Panda trilogy, is that it's just one of the most, like, the first film literally just takes one of the most weirdest ideas of DreamWorks of all, about a panda doing Kung Fu, which honestly, it handles that, and for me, I think it handles that premise very well, with really just these likable characters, some fantastic action thrown in the mix, some very funny lines and funny things that happen in the film. It also just has a lot of these great themes between Master Shifu and Tai Lung. Like, I mean, there's a lot of themes in the first film, and it explores it very well. And then, of course, like, the voice cast with Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, David Cross, Lucy Liu, Seth Rogen. I mean, the cast is just fantastic. And then again, the second movie, and it does the things they liked about the original film, and it makes it better. It has another great villain into it, The action is a lot better. The music is better, and also the music in the original film is great too. And really, you get to explore more about Poe and his origins of his parentage, and then you get to explore. And then in Kung Fu Panda 3, you get to see the Panda Village. In here, you get some more fantastic action. The music is great, and you get some pretty cool themes and arcs throughout the movie. But I gotta be honest with you, Kung Fu Panda 3 is probably my least favorite of the Kung Fu Panda films. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still an enjoyable Kung Fu Panda film that, of course, I'm gonna rewatch all the time. So this is just a trilogy that has great themes, great characters, great action, and it handled a premise that was kind of weird, and it handled it in a very satisfying way. Now, what this trilogy does so well, actually, I should have changed that, because this is not technically a trilogy anymore. This is technically a quadrilogy now, since we have Toy Story 4. But what I love about this film series is that it really does something so fantastic, and it really just captures your childhood. The first film literally does such a clever premise with adding all these likable characters in this story that I actually thought was pretty well done. As you had Woody, where he was always wanting to be there for his kid. He's always wanted to do that. And then Buzz Lightyear. Now, obviously, the premise, even though that's technically not what we wanted to have happen, because all these toys are different types of things. One is a dinosaur, one is a cowboy, one is Bo Peep, one is a potato head, one is a piggy bank, and one is a space ranger, which happens to be in the first movie. And you kind of explored that he's not actually a space ranger; he's actually a toy. And when you get into that sequence before the Savage Toys team up with Woody, like, it's creates the development of their friendship. Like, he's my friend, he's the only friend I got, and it really develops their arc very well. And then, of course, the music is also great. And then the second movie, once again, it touches on those fantastic themes and nostalgia, introduces a lot of great characters with Jessie and Bullseye and Stinky Pete, and also getting Miss Potato Head in the mix. But you know, the story is probably the weakest of them. Toy Story 3, on the other hand, does such a great job because it really kind of touches on these themes. Like, even though Andy might not play with us, we're still gonna be there for him, because whether it's at college or in the attic, we gotta be there for Andy, and we gotta be there because he might do something with us. And for all these years, he's kept us around, so that means he loves us with all of his heart. But then you get into the Sunny Side stuff, and the villain, I would say Lotso is probably like one of the best villains of all of the Toy Story films. Probably my second favorite one, because we have another one in the other film. But I thought his motive was very understanding. It's kind of a little bit confusing as he was replaced, but I thought his motivation really worked. And then, of course, it introduces more characters with, like, Bonnie's Toys with Mr. Pricklepants, Jeff Garlin as Buttercup, that girl that plays Trixie, Timothy Dalton as Mr. Pricklepants, Bonnie Hunt as Dolly. I did not expect that, because she's been in a lot of Pixar films and Disney films, which was really exciting. And then, of course, ending out the Andy trilogy, where Andy plays with Bonnie, is just so satisfying, and I love that. And then also Toy Story 4, I actually learned to love Toy Story 4 now, and I certainly love it as we have more story with Woody, as Toy Story 3 was the ending with Andy, with Woody's time with Andy, but that doesn't mean it's the conclusion to Woody's storyline. And it creates all these character arcs, some beautiful animation, introducing a lot of great characters with Duke-a-Boom, Ducky and Bunny, Giggle McDimples. All the characters are great. And then, of course, the villain, Gabby Gabby, is, of course, fantastic, as she wants to be played with and all this stuff. And, like, there's a kid out there waiting for you, and she just doesn't know yet. And I love that, and her arc is just so satisfying. Hopefully we can actually get a Disney Plus short that we could see where she was. But the story in Toy Story 4 is kind of weird. But overall, I thought this quadrilogy was fantastic, and to this day, I don't think any film has particularly failed for me. So I haven't really talked about Rocky any time before on this channel, so this is actually my first time talking about the franchise. I know I've talked about it last year when I did my top 5 favorite movie fathers list, but that was just a small thing. But now let's talk about the franchise as a whole. I personally love this franchise. The first one really just gave us a great introduction to all these characters, and it really just explored adulthood very well. Sylvester Stallone played a great role as Rocky. I really enjoyed that. And the theme song is great. Da-da-da, da-da-da. The relationships are great. And throughout all the movies, all the characters are developed in a very cool way. The villains, I will say Rocky 3 is kind of like the start of that campiness, what I of course like. It was kind of fun. There are some stupid ideas in the movie, but I don't in like Rocky 5, but I do kind of enjoy it at the same time. Rocky Balboa is probably a really personal favorite film because you literally just get to see Rocky, where his wife died, he's trying to find a new girlfriend, and he does one last match of his life. And I thought that was really cool and really sentimental. And then get into the Creed films where it's not specifically focused on Rocky, but it still continues his story in a very cool way. And Adonis Creed, Michael B. Jordan's character, I love his arc, and I love that he just always keeps fighting and fighting and fighting. And Creed 2, another great addition as it continues. Like, it makes Rocky 4 serious, and it makes it very great. So I loved what they did with this franchise, and I personally can't wait for Rocky 3. I mean, not Rocky 3. I personally can't wait for Creed 3 to come out next year. Now, this is probably the obvious thing because, as you can see, I have Marvel posters all around me, especially this one right here. And it's no obvious question. This is the best built franchise of any movie studio ever. And I'm personally glad that Disney is like accompanying this, because they are just some of the best movie studios out there. And what makes it even better is that they have now formed into TV shows. 3 of them to be exact, but you know that's how Disney Plus runs their things. But I really liked all these movies. I rewatched mostly all of them on this month, and I'm actually on Captain Marvel right now. And I gotta say, none of them are really bad. There's not like a film that's like D, F, or Z tier. I say Z tier because technically that's my not favorite of them all. Because I don't like doing D or anything. But there's not a single. The lowest tier I would probably give is probably like a C tier, because the universe is just so well done, and it builds and builds and builds so well. So I liked this. I love this franchise. It's truly a magnificent franchise. There's so many films to go back to. I know there are some ones that aren't owned by Disney, so if you own The Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man Homecoming, good for you. I own like 2 of them, but it's fine, because Spider-Man Homecoming is on TV and so is Far From Home. But that's my top 5 favorite movie franchises. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram is Marvel6 and my TikTok name is MarvelFan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my back section to follow me on all social medias. I'm also on Letterboxd, 8 on Instagram, Marvel_6_, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.